Numbers flickered on the glowing monitors in the Midtown office, columns of scrolling green and red that only a few trained eyes could really comprehend. It was 2:13 a.m., and the trading floor should have been quiet, but one terminal lit up with a transaction that never should have been possible. The markets weren't open, the systems were locked, and yet, somewhere between New York and Chicago, one stroke of a computer key transferred $1.2 billion from an account that didn't technically exist. The man behind the screen leaned back, exhaling like a physician who had performed a successful procedure. He didn't appear on any employee log. His ID badge had been deactivated 2 years earlier, and his login credentials had been deleted from the system. Yet here he was, shoveling money no one else was supposed to touch. By morning, when the sun had risen over Manhattan, the money had coursed through 4 shell companies on its way around 2 oceans and into a vault account in a Swiss digital bank so impregnable that it had been cryptographically graced as if by divine urine. It was a paper trail meant to disappear in seconds, and it would have, if not for one mistake. Intern Casey Bennett had been working late, and he's trying to catch up a little on an assignment that he thought would be routine. She had not been meant to be in the building. Her badge was supposed to prevent her from entering after 10 p.m., but security had failed to revoke her clearance. Casey was just 23, fresh out of college, her career hanging by a thread. She never imagined that the weariness of her eyes and a second cup of vending machine coffee would place her in the middle of what was about to become one of the most perilous financial scandals in decades. At 2:16 a.m., her screen flashed with an error message. It was not dramatic, just a little alert. Unauthorized transaction detected. Casey frowned, double-clicked, and read the log. What she was looking at didn't add up. Billions slushing through locked markets, the ghost trade with no provenance. She attempted to screenshot it, but the file was corrupted. She attempted to print it, but the printer got jammed. Every time she managed to do something, it set some kind of countermeasure into play, as though someone or something was wiping the record clean right as events played out. Her heart raced. She might have let it slide, not looked, or pretended she didn't look, closed her laptop and headed home. But she was curious, deadly curious, and that was what kept her standing in place. She transcribed a list of transaction IDs onto a sticky note and stuffed it in her bag. More than the billion-dollar theft itself, it would be this one act that became the spark of a story that would reverberate through governments and corporations, secret agencies and networks. By the morning after she filed her complaint, she was summoned to her manager's office. He grinned a little too politely, asked her vague questions, and kept checking his phone. He wasn't accusing her of anything. He never even mentioned the trade. But Casey noticed something off, and his watch was not the Rolex he normally wore. He was not on his usual phone. She left the office with her stomach roiling. Her computer was gone when she came back to her desk. IT told me they were upgrading systems. Security loitered just outside her cubicle and pretended to repair a light. And when she tried to swipe out of the building, her badge wouldn't work. The first time she got a call was that night. The number was blocked. It was calm, American, perhaps in its mid-40s, professional but not corporate. "You saw something," the man said. Casey froze. "Who is this?" "Someone who can keep you alive until you make the wrong move. Don't go back to your office. Don't talk to your boss. And don't believe someone who informs you that they are from compliance." The line went dead. The next morning, headlines were splashed on all the news outlets. Market anomaly. A glitch, they called it. No harm done. But amid the financial jargon in it was a number, $1.2 billion unaccounted for. Every network spun it differently. Some blamed China. Some hinted at Russian cyber hackers. Some whispered it was an inside job on Wall Street. Casey knew right away it wasn't a fluke. She carried the sticky note in her bag, the string of numbers that would not escape her mind. And someone else knew she had it, too. She was followed by the end of the week. Not the obvious kind. No black S, U, V.S, or trench coats. Just small details. The same guy who works at the corner coffee shop every day. The very same rideshare driver 2 nights in a row. An email that appeared in her inbox and disappeared before she could click on it. She thought about going to the FBI, but the voice on the other end of her phone call had cautioned her. And then she saw something chilling. One of the transaction IDs she had written down was linked to a U.S. Treasury account. Not offshore. Not criminal. Government. The pieces of the puzzle created a chilling image. And whoever had made that trade had not stolen the money but moved it, concealed it, camouflaged it under thickets of fake algorithms. And yet where does that money come from? Not the world of a legal enterprise, but from the taxpayers. If she blew the whistle, it wouldn't just be one rogue trader that she was nailing. She would be exposing a well-orchestrated operation that linked Wall Street with Washington. The voice called again. "You're deeper than you know," he said. "They won't just erase you. They'll erase the entire trail. Everyone who saw it. Everyone who touched it." "Why me?" Casey asked. "Because you wrote it down." The next 72 hours felt like a chase scene with no obvious villain. Casey slid between cheap motels, borrowed laptops, and encrypted chat rooms. She called an investigative journalist she believed, only to hear he was dead just 2 days later, ruled a suicide. She sent her sticky note through the mail to 3 friends. 2 envelopes never made it. The third was returned to her own apartment, unopened, with no postmark whatsoever. The farther she went, the weirder it grew. The trades represented more than money. They were signals masquerading as transactions, coded messages put directly into the financial system. A means for some agencies to ship money, yes, but also a way to convey messages across borders and route them around the globe using Wall Street as the world's most dependable message service. She discovered that the $1.2 billion wasn't gone. It had been marked, tagged, a quiet message to a powerful someone, somewhere far away. By the time Casey figured it out, it was too late. Arriving at a safe house she had been directed to by the voice, she found it empty save for a single laptop on a desk. The screen flickered on with a real-time surveillance image. She caught sight of herself walking in from seconds before. And then the voice was back, but this time not coming through the phone. It came through the speakers. "You have a choice," it said. "Come to US and be our secret. Or expose us and vanish before the first light of dawn." Casey's eyes remained glued to the sticky note, her shaking hand holding on to it as if it were the last remnant of her former life. The digits that launched 1,000 ships. The figures that might make all the difference. The screen flickered. The feed cut out. And then somewhere in the financial systems of the world, another bad trade was made. Not that the papers ever wrote Casey's name on a headline. No obituary marked her passing. But traders in New York, bankers in Zurich, and ministers in Washington still whisper about her. The intern who witnessed it all. And in those dark hours of similar disappointment and caffeine, every once in a while at 2:13 a.m., somewhere downtown past the turnstiles, or way uptown beneath which the ground doesn't rattle no matter how warm your whiskey is today, there's some glimmer on one terminal, in Midtown amid all that inefficiency. And someone, somewhere smiles. Because the last trade on Wall Street never ended.